You're listening to the Dirty Air Podcast.
Hey, let me hear some Skinner, brother.
It's in the face, Dillner. In the face.
I don't really, to be honest with you, I don't know how to party.
And now, here are your hosts, Chuck Bush, Jonathan Merryman, and Matthew Dillner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Dirty Air Podcast. I'm Chuck Bush. I'm joined again by Jonathan Merryman.
And Papa Dillner.
And Papa Matt Dillner. Woo! Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, outside the NASCAR Hall of Fame, here in the radio studios of NASCAR.com.
.com.
RadioVoice.com. Hey.
Hey now.
How you guys doing? Thanks for joining us here in the Dirty Air. We got a great show for you today. We really do. We've coming up in a little bit. We've got Casey Mears, driver of the number 13 Geico Chevrolet.
The Geico Gecko.
The Geico Gecko Chevrolet. He's going to join us on the Dirty Air Podcast.
Word.
We're trying it out. We've got a phone interview. We've done via video in Bristol with Matthew Dillner and Johnny Sauter. We had Jeb Bush sitting.
Jeb Burton.
Jeb Burton.
Yeah.
My last name's Bush.
If we had Jeb Bush on the show, I think ratings would go up, and maybe Mr. Trump would like to come on.
We would have had
Why do you call him
Stephen
Mr.
Colbert type rating numbers.
Just call him Don. Yeah. Don Mike. Hey Don, if you're watching the show, come on. Why not?
He's not, and nobody is really, except for all of you that are listening on NASCAR.com.
They are very much appreciated for clicking the link, too.
They are.
Thank you, everybody.
We really appreciate it.
We've got listeners all the way in like New Zealand,
If you share this
England.
with your friends,
Shout out to New
may be
Zealand.
able to do this for a couple more weeks before we get asked.
I think we're at least going to make it through the chase, but we might make it to that last round in Homestead.
Are we like the pirate video show of NASCAR.com? I think we are.
It's actually called a simulcast.
Yeah.
So
Simulcast. Virginia.
Sumocast? Sumocast.
No, that would be if I was on it.
I know. Anyway, speaking of the chase, we're now in it. It starts this weekend in Chicago, which is why we're recording.
And here comes Bush on the backstretch.
Right, whatever, on the inside. Anyway, we're recording this on a Monday after a rather long but short weekend in Richmond. It was long because the days were long. It was a short weekend because we were back on Sunday instead of back on Monday. But we're recording on Monday because you guys are heading up to Chicago on Wednesday when the show will post, because we set our lineup and our field for the 10-race chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
Starts with a C, ends with a O, and in the middle is a Hickog.
Please explain.
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago.
Yeah,
Saturday Night Live. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on Saturday Night. I always go to Blues Brothers, in Chicago.
The Bears
Sweet
in
home.
town.
The Bears. Anyway,
The Cubs are rolling, buddy.
But,
and NASCAR's now rolling.
That Richmond race, there was one driver that was giving it not one driver. They were all giving it their all.
It was a mild race, except for that one driver that put on a show.
There in the last couple of
Matt Kenseth?
No, he
Matt
put on a
Kenseth
show.
spanked him,
But the guy
I picked him.
The guy trying to get into the chase, Eric Almirola. Holy cow.
You want to talk about raw racing right there. That guy just got up on the wheel, elbows up, and he did everything he could. If it wasn't for the Matt Kenseth restart there, where he kind of maybe went a little bit before the box, it's kind of questionable, but it was ruled that it was a legal restart. Eric Almirola felt like he might have had a shot, and I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter now because he's not in the chase, but looking back at it, that was one of the most memorable moments of the show.
My only question is, and this isn't a shot at that team, but they did it there. If they did it at Richmond, they could do it at other places. Where was that urgency 4 races ago?
That's a good question.
If he rattled off 4 top 5 finishes in a row, he could be on the inside looking out instead of the other way around. But that's how it played out. They needed to win the race.
Nobody doubts that he's a great race car driver, but he performed.
He did just about everything he needed to do to get in, other than win the race.
Hey man, it was a good show there at the end, and I was thinking he could have done it.
I thought if he got a good restart there that he'd suck it underneath Matt Kenseth 3 wide and there'd be some sparks. And but it just didn't
Would you
happen.
wreck someone locked into the chase if you were sitting on the outside?
Without a doubt.
Is that really a question, though?
Without a doubt. I love my mother.
But
I would wreck the heck out of my mother
Matt Dillner's
to get
mom,
in the chase.
If she won 4 races this
Does she
season,
listen to this podcast?
She might not after this. I'm sorry, Mom. I love you, but I'm just like Mark Martin said. He said he'd sell his mother down the river to win the Daytona 500.
but she's locked in the chase. Your mom's already won 4 races
you're in the
this year,
chase,
so
Mom.
she's doing well.
Guess what? Just go take a back seat.
Would your mom move out of the way for you though?
That's not allowed anymore.
No, nobody's going to move out of the way. This is
But
racing.
it's your mom.
Man. It's my mom. She
Yeah,
may
but-
love me, but Matt Kenseth doesn't love Eric Almirola enough to
If your
move out of the
mom-
way.
If your mom moved out of the way, then she would be penalized heavily by NASCAR.
I didn't think we'd go from last week talking about my new son to this week talking about my mom.
It's a family
Uncle Bob,
it's
you're
a family
next.
it's a family show here on NASCAR.com. But the chase lineup is set. Jimmie Johnson, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kurt Busch.
You said Kurt
You
twice.
said Kurt twice. It's Kyle Busch
It's
is
Kyle.
second.
I'm reading it from a distance, and they both have very short
He
names.
obviously needs better glasses.
Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski,
Doesn't
Martin
know the
Truex
difference between a
Jr.,
U and a Y.
Denny Hamlin. I know UNITY. Jamie McMurray, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Paul Menard, and Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer makes it into the chase. How about that?
Yeah, there's
A big thing for MWR and for those 200-something employees and some of those employees that will be losing work and looking for work at the end of the season. Now they got something to race for this final 10.
Let's talk about how close Paul Menard was to maybe slipping outside.
Oh, yeah.
He did not look good early. Clint Boyer didn't look good
Clint
early
didn't.
before
He was
those.
dropping back early.
He was, like a lead balloon.
It was not a good night for that Menards team.
But they salvaged it. They're in.
Was that happy Paul Menard after that race?
It's hard to tell. Okay, I like Paul. He's a
Yeah.
good dude
Yeah.
when you get to talk to him and stuff. But he's not a very emotional driver. That's why, maybe some of the guys think he's a little dull or whatever it is. But the guy's a race car driver, and he's not paid to shake hands and kiss babies. So
When you also got 5 Toyota cars in there,
5 Toyotas.
5 Toyotas, and 4 of them are from one team.
Wow.
And one.
Well, I asked Carl Edwards when we interviewed him afterwards. I was like, you guys didn't have speed here in the spring. You found something, early, midsummer, and I mean, you guys are still the class of the field. I asked him, what are the odds that we see 4 Gibbs cars at Homestead? And he actually told me that Matt Kenseth had said before the year that was Matt's personal goal to see his teammates there and racing for a championship. Now, Coach, I don't know how Coach his stomach would.
Coach
handle
would have
that.
to take some
tough.
tums
I mean,
for that.
you're guaranteed a title, but
Tums. Sorry.
yeah,
You just look at Joe Gibbs Racing, though. Since Kyle Busch has come back, not that they haven't had the performance before that, but 15 races since Kyle Busch is back. They have 9 wins. That's over half of the wins so far. I mean, they have an average finish of 11.7 as an organization. And you know what? All the people are talking about Matt Kenseth. All the people are talking about Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards' recent resurgence. Denny Hamlin, he's got an ACL injury. But Denny Hamlin, over that course of 15 races, has been sneaky. He has the best average finish of all 4 of those Gibbs drivers.
yeah, but
Go ahead.
I think you need to win.
You need
Here,
to win.
I mean, if I'm Kyle Busch and they're, however many rounds of the Chasers, it's 3 rounds and then the championship. You need to win in every round.
Kyle and Kenseth are clearly the favorite as far as because they've been able to put up the wins.
I don't think
right now.
I think
that camp.
Carl's odds are just as good.
No,
Look where
they
he's
are.
won. He's won on the 1.5 mile tracks, and I mean,
He won on a track that had a different package.
yeah. So
That's so. Of those 4 teams, which finishes the best? Say they're not all 4 there in the final race.
I say Kyle Busch clearly. I think Kyle Busch is the favorite if he can get through Kansas in this chase. I said it at the beginning of the year.
What's
if he
your
makes
final
the chase,
4?
Final 4. Oh geez,
want
Jimmie
mine?
Johnson, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano. I said at the beginning of the year that Joey Logano would be the champion. I'm going to stick to that pick, but Kyle Busch. If you just put into perspective how good he's been since he's come back, he's earned more points since he's come back than Tony Stewart has all year.
it's crazy.
It's unbelievable what he's done.
My final 4 would be Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, and Logano.
So you're saying Harvick, who's
And look, I think it's. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's an outside shot that anybody other than Gibbs makes it, because I think all 4 of those cars are.
I don't know if
nobody's talking about Jimmie
Johnson.
Johnson.
No, how can you not have a Penske car?
Well, you got. I mean,
because your Gibbs cars are going to outrun them like they have been doing here as of late.
Yeah, but the
Dude, they were running 1, 2, 3, 4 at Richmond at one point for a good long while.
Yeah, there was.
And at Kentucky.
But who was
they
right
all
there?
finished
Who
in
was right there? Joey Logano has been right there
I'm
every
not saying
week.
you're wrong, but
He had Joey Logano in his Final
did.
Four.
yeah.
I am shocked that you picked Jimmie Johnson, but no Hendrick for you.
I mean, Stuart Haas runs Hendrick's stuff. That's as close as they're getting, in my opinion. Now, they could flip a switch quickly, but
Chad Knaus did say, I think it was this weekend, he said that this is the time of the year that they love.
yeah, but they loved it last year, and look what happened.
True.
Very fair.
I mean, I'm not.
Very
That's
I'm
what's
not,
great
yeah.
about this
I'm
chase.
not
We all
trying to
have
be-
opinions.
Not trying to be, ugly towards the Hendrick camp. You got to show me something if you know.
What have you done for me lately?
What is,
Yeah,
like,
let's show you
what does
something.
my
Your
opinion
6
matter anyway?
championships,
He's
they're
number
great.
one. He's number one seed.
True.
No, he's
got-
tied for the number one.
Tied
seed
for the number one seed.
with a
with
a Gibbs driver.
2 Gibbs drivers.
2, that's right.
valid point.
But show me something. What about that? That's not worth anything?
What, 6 titles?
6 titles and number one seed?
He doesn't have any in this format.
But he's won in every other format except for
Counterpoint.
every other format of
It's a
the
good
chase.
counterpoint.
We can counterpoint this
Point,
all day long.
counterpoint.
Look, am I writing Hendrick off? Am I writing Jimmie Johnson off? No. Jimmie Johnson
can't.
can drive anything with wheels on it, and Chad Knaus can make a race car bad fast. But it's clear to me that Gibbs and Penske have a leg up, and I think Gibbs has the bigger leg up in the power department, and that's pushing those guys through.
Speaking of legs, I have to ask this question.
Yes.
Denny Hamlin. Now, last time he tore his ACL in the left leg, he went on a tear and he was in contention.
8 wins that year.
How's that going to affect him this year? Is it going to?
Nope.
I don't think
Driving
it's
a race car was an anaerobic activity.
Well, I will
your
say
heart
it's not
rate
going to
gets
be
up, but-
it's not going to be easy for him because especially
he'll
the
be
first
fine.
few races with swelling. I've had an ACL injury, and I know the importance of keeping that swelling down and taking care of that knee in the first few weeks of an ACL injury. If he could get through these first few weeks and control the swelling and manage making the muscles around that knee stronger, I think he's going to be fine. Denny Hamlin is a gamer. The last time it happened, he stepped up.
Well, and I will give you this point right here. If you look at that race on Saturday night, Denny Hamlin went out there and was like, "What injury? What?"
Well, and
He's got something to prove.
this
Yeah.
don't take this the wrong way, but Denny Hamlin, he plays basketball regularly. His legs are in good shape. He's an athlete.
Yes.
He's constantly moving. So the heel time and recovery time, I mean, his
Is
legs
far
are
less.
already strong. I mean, he did tear an ACL, but let's just
It's not an easy injury.
No, it's not an easy injury, but
And it's not like he's just sitting down. Everybody thinks you're in a race car. You're just sitting down. No, you're using your legs.
he's
a
using his
lot.
legs, but you don't. When you're in there, it's not like these drivers left foot brake. They don't right foot brake. That one leg is responsible for one pedal. He doesn't have to move it from side to side. Now, if he gets in a wreck, I'll worry about him then getting jarred around in there.
There's a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of discomfort with that injury right
Yeah,
there.
but
So
that dude's
I don't think
tougher
it's,
than a
yeah,
cheese
exactly.
grater.
I don't think it's going to.
So-
What are you calling
hamper him.
Dillner a cheese grater?
Yeah, you calling me a cheese? Hey, listen, I
No,
got
a
the back
He's
of
Polar-
work
not from Wisconsin.
2 weeks after my ACL injury. I was back at the track limping and working. So, Denny Hamlin can do it. I said it on Twitter. I said, this injury, everybody's talking about it. I've had a similar ACL injury. They're not easy, but he will get through it. I don't think he's going to perform to the level of maybe winning this chase. That's just my prediction, my
Dillner's
personal
tougher
opinion.
than a nail file, but Hamlin's
But
tougher
Denny
than a cheese
Hamlin will
grater.
make it through this injury.
Well, speaking of tough guys, we are joined now on the Dirty Air podcast by the driver of the number 13 Geico Chevrolet, Casey Mears. Casey, thank you for joining us here on our podcast.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I think Dillner and I were talking about this before the show started. The last time we kind of hung out with you was out in Glamis at Greg Biffle's place riding in some sand cars.
And NASCAR goes west, and I think Casey, we almost bit it real bad.
Yeah, we hit a kicker one time and all but endoed it, but I think Matt's ballast kept us down and we didn't go over.
My weight came in handy, and the excellent driving of Casey Mears prevented it from being a further wreck. So
I like the term ballast.
Ballast.
That sounds a lot
Thank
better.
you.
I was a passenger. I mean, I'd lie to you, but I was a passenger just like you were there for a while, and then it all just happened to work out okay.
I'm just going to tell people from now on, I'm not fat. I'm full of ballast.
You have a large ballast.
The equalizer.
The equalizer.
Well, you're a California guy. How long have you been riding it on the dunes out there?
Man, you know what? I grew up a lot out in Pismo Beach is where we first started going out because it was only about an hour and a half away from the house. And then, we slowly discovered Dumont Dunes, which was near Vegas. And, we spent every Thanksgiving out at Dumont and every Easter out at Pismo. So, and then in between, we'd always try to hit it anytime we could. But it was a big family thing that we did. My grandfather used to go out to the sand dunes way back, and it's just something that we've always loved to do. It's the last couple of years, being back here in North Carolina, I've gotten away from it, haven't done it as much, but just so much fun to go out there and play.
Hey, Casey, switching back to the Cup focus of things, the rest of this year we're running this rule package, the 2015 rule package. Outside of winning one of these last 10 races for you guys, how much focus goes into next year with kind of the unknown? I guess we'll know here at the end of the month what they'll change up for the rules package for next year. But not knowing that, how does that affect your approach going into these last races in terms of things you might wish you could learn about the rule package and testing those things out this year?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, the practices are so short. It really doesn't give you a whole lot of time to mess around and try to get on anything for next year. I mean, we just got to be 110% focused on the remainder of the season. And, we will rely a lot on, honestly, knowing those details of exactly what those rules packages are going to be is makes all the difference in the world. You could kind of guess at it and try to apply some things that you think might be there, depending on what they do down the road. I mean, we're all kind of expecting a lower downforce package, but hearing that there could be some high downforce packages as well. So really, we're just focused on this year, trying to get the best results we can, and everything that we learn. Then what you do once you know the package, you basically put that into the sim program and start playing around with that in the off season and seeing how the changes apply, on the computer, and hopefully the computer's accurate. And by the time we get back this time next year, we'll be a little bit ahead.
Where are you guys as a team? I mean, because you obviously have 10 races left in the schedule. You guys started out with that 6th place finish at Daytona. You've had ups and downs this year, but you guys have had some real flashes of speed. Where do you see your guys, the Geico 13 group as a team?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt we're a solid top 20 team. I mean, I really feel like that. We I know that that's I don't know, maybe the weaker way of talking about where you want to be in results, because we all expect more than that. But we are definitely a top 20 team. We've had some issues this year that have just kind of come up that really haven't been of our doing. We had a housing break. We've had a fuel pump go bad. We've had, just some random parts and pieces on the car that we don't service ourselves, and it's really kind of put us behind. So I've been pleased with how we've been running. We've gone to a couple races this year and really been off. We still got to work on qualifying. This weekend at Richmond was a good weekend for us. Qualified 15th, so that was a step in the right direction. And we got a great group of guys that have been together for quite a while now. It's all pulling in the right direction. Bob's been really, really involved in as far as making sure that we have everything that we need. And obviously we have a budget. We got to keep that in mind. But it's our team's made a lot of progress, and I feel like going into next year, it's not going to do anything but get better.
Well, and back in July, you signed a contract extension with Germain Racing and Geico for 2016, and you've got that partnership with RCR. Just going, it seems like you guys are really starting to move in the right direction.
Yeah, we are, and the RCR relationship's been great. I think the longer that we're with those guys, the more we understand exactly what they do and how they do it. Being able to look at what they do, look at their setups, talk to the other drivers. I mean, we're not in the same shop, so it's not as easy as just walking over to the stall beside you and, seeing what somebody else is doing. We got to do a good job of sending somebody up there and really going through everything. But it's been a great relationship, and like I said, 2 years ago, we just got with those guys, and we're throwing things at the wall, trying to look at what they had. And I think at the end of last year and this last off season, we did a lot better job of really understanding exactly how they do everything. And now that we understand that, we've now had a season of some solid races where we've had some good race cars where we now feel like we can go back to track and have something to build from, have some sort of notes that worked for us, the previous season and build from those. This weekend at Richmond is a perfect example. We struggled there quite a bit. Going into Richmond this weekend, we were looking at our notes and we really didn't know what direction to go just because nothing that we had was really showing that great. But we showed up this weekend a lot closer. And, now going back to Richmond next year, we'll have some good notes to pull from.
All right, Casey. Dirty Air podcast here with Chuck Bush and Jonathan Merryman and I. We don't like to go without having some fun, so we're gonna throw you out a bunch of weird questions, random questions. We'll start easy on you though. Kind of topical. We're still talking about racing a little bit here. You had that 6th place finish at Daytona. Okay, the Daytona 500, such an important race in our sport. Indianapolis, so important to you. Where would you personally rather have the W? The Brickyard 400, Daytona 500?
Wow, that's a really, really tough question for me. With all the history that my family's had at Indy, a win there would be huge. But obviously now being on the stock car side of things for so many years, I understand how important Daytona is. So I think I'm going to go with Daytona just because it's so big for stock car racing. If I was racing Indy cars at this point, Indy would probably be more important. But I got to tell you that it's a real close, if not a tie for me. Two really prestigious races, and it'd be hard to be not excited about either one of those. Those are huge races.
All right, Casey, Jonathan here. Booty Barker, Virginia guy, like myself. What's one thing that Booty Barker says or does that cracks you up the most? Or do you have a Booty Barker impression?
Lately, he's been singing everything.
like over the radio while you're on the track.
When he's talking about things, he'll go, man, I think we need to add a little more wedge, and they'll go, add a little more wedge, yeah. So that kind of cracks me up. We'll be messing around and you're like, hey, Mears, what do you think you need here? And I'll say, well, hey, maybe we need to lower the car a little bit. He'll go, okay, we need to lower the car a little bit, yeah. Everything he's been doing is singing, and kind of, that's the bootyism at this point that's working. I'm sure we'll have a new one next week.
The bootyism, I like that.
Bootyism, yeah, we should. Yeah, that's a new term. You just coined it. Hey, speaking of colorful, because your crew chief, obviously, Booty Barker's colorful. You're good friends with some other guy that's won 6 championships in NASCAR, Jimmie Johnson, and a lot of people say he's vanilla. Okay, but we know otherwise. If you were to say what flavor ice cream Jimmie Johnson is, what would it be and why?
Whoa. Gosh, man, that's really tough. I mean, I don't know. What's got a little bit of everything in it?
Neapolitan?
Neapolitan, yeah. That's classic. Or rainbow sherbet.
Rainbow sherbet, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, man. I mean, he's the thing where Jimmie gets that label is he's just a freaking good guy, and when someone's cool and nice and gets along with everybody, it's hard to pick out bad things about him. But the one thing I can say is he's really anything but vanilla. That's for sure. He's just nice and gets mixed up with that. But he loves to do a whole lot of different things. Obviously, I've seen him mad, I've seen him sad, I've seen him happy. But at the end of the day, I think because he treats everybody pretty cool and basically, has won more championships than everybody and winning more races than everybody, that I think people like to find something wrong with him.
Well, he's a California guy. You're a California guy growing up in Bakersfield. I do have one question. The great Buck Owens said something about Bakersfield. And I just got to know, how tough are the streets of Bakersfield?
I'd say pretty damn tough, man. If you've been to Bakersfield, originally that place is all farming and oil. You got a lot of tough boys there, and what's not farming and oil, you get a lot of bleed over from L.A. and people coming south from San Francisco. So you don't want to be on the back streets of Bakersfield at the wrong time because you might get ugly. At the same time, if you're in the good parts of it, you got some tough cowboys and oilfield guys that are scared to get things done. So it's a tough joint.
So if you had to pick North Carolina or California, which route would you go?
It's a trick question.
Gosh,
Chuck.
man, that's tough. Now that I've lived back in North Carolina for so long, I really love it. I enjoy it back here. The biggest thing I miss about California is my friends, family, and the weather.
And tacos.
It's tacos, Mexican food. There's a lot of things. But, I'm a guy. I like convertibles. I like motorcycles. I love being outside. And in North Carolina, the springtime's awesome, but then you get the pollen and you can't go outside because your eyes itch and you can't breathe. And you get about a month in the spring after the pollen goes away, and about a month in the fall before it gets cold and do some of that fun stuff. So I miss that about California, but North Carolina is definitely home now.
Okay, our Jonathan Merryman here is our resident. I don't want to say resident redneck because that sounds bad. We love him very much, but he's definitely very in touch with eagles. And Merryman,
Well, I would have to say a bald eagle is probably my spirit animal, and then probably the most colorful question you're going to be asked this week: What is your spirit animal? Your inner power animal? I think
that's getting deep. Is this like
spirit?
Yeah. Matt Dillner's is a platypus.
Those people that are just pretty mellow and pretty laid back, and then when they get mad, they completely blow up, pull their hair out, punch through walls.
Yeah.
That's not me. No, I don't know, man. I think that I could still Max Pappas and say a lion, have the heart of the lion. I would go with a bear.
You don't look like a bear, but maybe you have the spirit of a bear. So that's pretty good. I've got a question for you. Okay.
Maybe a gecko.
A gecko. Wait, hey, you should be a gecko.
Yeah.
You're fast. You're sleek.
And they have cool accents.
Yes, they
geckos,
do.
according to the commercials.
Gecko likes them, so that might work.
All right.
All right. Who would you rather? This is a good one. Okay. I think hopefully we make you laugh on this one. Who would you rather take a punch from? George Foreman, Butterbean, or Marcus Ambrose?
Marcus for sure. God, thanks, man. George Foreman and Butterbean or Marcus?
Yeah.
I'll take it for Marcus.
Any day.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah. He's I tell you what, man, that was a shame that happened because he's such a great guy.
Oh,
he really is. He's a cool guy, and we got into it that night, and gosh dang, he got me good though. He got a good one on me. So, that was an easy one.
Well, who would you rather take a punch from there, Dillner?
George Foreman, just so I could say I did it. I mean, I saw the way Butterbean punched Johnny Knoxville in that movie that I can't name because I think it's a curse word. But George Foreman, I take it for sure. But I don't know. I don't like taking punches. I know one guy I won't take a punch from is Chuck Bush because it would feel like a mosquito jumped on me.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, hey, by the way, your daughter broke her foot, I heard? What's the deal, man? Was she getting after it on a bike, or what was the deal?
Yeah, kind of. She actually ended up with a really small fracture, fortunately. But we got these electric bikes, and we got these seats that sit in between the handlebars and seat, and they're really made for somebody that's about 3 years old. But our kids still love to just sit in front there and cruise around with us.
It's just a typical Mears getting after it.
Yeah, so we got these electric bikes, and she hopped on, and we were cruising. She was with her mom at the time, and unfortunately she had flip-flops on, and we didn't find this out till after, but she told us that she was, liking the way her foot sounded on the tire, and she ended up getting her foot in the spokes and chalked the tire and sent Trish over the handlebars, and Fortunately, everybody was okay. Trish was okay. The dog was okay in the basket. But Samantha got her foot chewed up pretty good, and we were scared to death. We thought she really hurt it real bad, but got her into the doctor, and they say the kid's bones are pretty flexible, and they must have been because I can't imagine. She's running around now. It's only been about 4 or 5 days, and she didn't even want to wear the boot. So
Well, real quick, based on that, I mean, you're a good dad. I've seen you out there at the track with your kids and your wife, and a good family man. I'm a new dad. What's your favorite part about being a dad?
Probably just seeing them happy. I mean, just really, truly seeing them happy and excited to see you. When you come home, or I love right now. Hayden loves to work with me. He loves to help. And we've been working on his little playhouse, and man, he's got to be right there. Handing me tools and working, and that's a lot of fun. And Samantha's at the age where she's starting to become this full-blown little girl, and it's rewarding to see how she's kind of coming into her own. She was always a little rowdy thing and kind of hard to rein in, and she's starting to grow up and do some things on her own, and it's all rewarding. It's all awesome. I mean, it really is. It's just different levels.
We by the way, we just got passed a note that we believe that Chuck Bush, our host, his spirit animal is a bear as well, but his is because he's the hairiest guy of this four people talking.
I would.
Man, the guy.
What's that?
Does he have a voice on this deal?
I feel like a bear is accurate because bears like to sleep, and bears can
You like honey?
I do like honey, but I feel like I would be more like a Kodiak or a grizzly because I can kind of be a larger guy,
Like a big bear.
Big bear. He's iron tough. But anyway,
we've derailed.
We have derailed. But Casey, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on the Dirty Air podcast. And any last words you want to say as you guys are heading to Chicago this weekend?
No, man, just excited. I think that every weekend is an exciting weekend for us now. I used to dread kind of going to the 1.5 mile track because we struggled at them, and now that we're getting our downforce package right and starting to narrow in on stuff, I look forward to going everywhere. So, real excited to go to Chicago, and appreciate you guys having me on. I like the name, Dirty Air.
Well,
I don't like how it feels.
No.
I like how it sounds.
Well, it's a fun place to be sometimes for us to be in the dirty. I don't know. I've never actually experienced it going more than 10 miles an hour on the highway. But anyway, Casey Mears, thank you for joining us, and good luck out there this weekend in Chicago.
All right, guys. Look forward to seeing you there.
Casey Mears looking forward to Chicago. We're all looking forward to Chicago. I know you guys are heading up there Wednesday, so be sure to watch the live chat with Miss Sprint Cup. All the chase drivers are going to come through. That's going to be on NASCAR.com. I believe /live events is where you can go watch it. You can put that in there, but I'm sure it'll get pubbed on the website. Jonathan, you ever been to Chicago?
I have not. I've been to the airport there, but I've never kind of walked around outside of that. So, no, I've never been to Chicago.
It's going to be nice. You're going to like it. Chicago is a cool town.
You're going to get yourself some Italian beef, maybe some deep dish pizza, and some good NASCAR.
I don't know if they have eagles. Do they have eagles out there in Chicago?
When did you become like Transylvanian?
Well, no, I'm talking with my Chicago accent here. Like one of the
Midwestern
the Blues
Dracula.
Brothers. Illinois.
All
I
right.
like Illinois.
Cue it up.
So
Eagle
we're going to go
fact.
now to Jonathan Merriman's Eagle Fact of the Week.
Well, bald eagles are very special animals, Chuck. Just like chase drivers, they're going to be marked in the chase. So the top 16 drivers this weekend are going to have, the yellow names above the thing. So that led me to look at the eagle and the white tail feathers and their, of course, white head where they get their name. So when does that develop? Well, the chase drivers get that when they're locked into the chase. Well, an eagle, they have to wait about 4 or 5 years before they develop the white feathers. So other than that, they're solid brown, but then 4 or 5 mature.
Boom. Locked in.
Eagle puberty, white head, white tail.
They're locked in to being a bald eagle.
That's right.
Speaking of locked in, who are you taking, Jonathan Merriman, to win at Chicagoland?
Carlos Edwards.
Carl Edwards?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It's so
Dillon?
hard to bet against the Gibbs car, but I'm going to do it. Joseph Logano
Joey Logano
will get the win and lock himself into the next round.
You have a funny
the
way of
chase.
saying your pick's name?
Yeah, I do. I'm going to go Brad Keselowski.
Oh, that sounds like a good
Should've said
Midwest name
Bradley.
there.
Well, not Bradley Keselowski. I think he could go with the Midwestern pick there and get the win in Chicago.
It's going to be a big weekend in Chicago because we have a triple header, man. Kyle Larson is running the truck race.
First race of the year for Kyle Larson.
In the trucks.
How about that points
he's
battle?
got 9 career starts.
And he won at Rockingham.
But more importantly, there is a championship battle that is heating up, and they're back in action in Chicago.
And the Xfinity Series,
There's a chase in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, they're going to be on track. It's a big weekend. With the Chase kickoff,
tune in.
3 races this weekend. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, NASCAR Xfinity, and then on Sunday, the NASCAR Chase for the Sprint Cup kicks off, or the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. I got to get the verbiage right. Be sure to go on to the hub that is on NASCAR.com. Download the apps, make your picks. There's a cool app on your phone where you can take a picture of yourself in front of your favorite driver's nation's flag.
Oh, we need to do that.
Yeah, we should. That could be our publicity picture for this. Chuck Nation.
Dirty Air Nation.
Dirty Air Nation.
I'm excited. This is the first round in the 10-round heavyweight title fight.
For all of us here in the Dirty Air, Jonathan Merryman, Matthew Dillner, I'm Chuck Bush, reminding you to hop out in the clean air, chase down the leader, and we'll see you next week back in the pack here in the Dirty Air.
Boom.